What is happening, fam? My name is Clint Richards. I have a large group of people who only know me by the name of AZ. Welcome to AZ Meets the World. Welcome to my memoir, Volume 4. This is also my 37th video, and I'm pretty excited to continue to share my story with you guys. So I just, every time I make these videos now with the memoirs, I always watch what I just recorded prior to, and I apologize for the delay. I want to make these videos more frequently, but I just started working a graveyard shift. I'm working 6 nights a week, so I mean my allotted time is not very large. But either way, I mean, I'm gonna be on here. I'm gonna be making these videos. I'm sharing my fucking story with you guys. So that's what I'm doing. So in my last video, I shared my experience about my father, who he had chained me up in the backyard with the dogs for a week, and unfortunately, I mean that's my fucking truth. And as a result of that, what happened is I lost all the respect for my dad. And I was about 14 years old when this happened, and I had been using drugs and I had been drinking for several years before that occurred. But after that happened, I mean, I dove in head first, man, and I was just looking for an escape. And, I had mentioned that I didn't graduate in high school because when I went to school, the only reason I even went to school was so I could escape my home life. So when I got there, I was chasing two things. I was chasing women and I was chasing drugs and alcohol. And those are the two things that I would chase. And that was my relief. That was my escape from my reality. And what ended up happening after a couple of years of finding this relief through substance is I started to get in a lot of trouble. And so when I turned 18, I was full blown into addiction. I was an IV meth user. I was homeless. I was on the streets, and there's a lot more that I can share with you guys, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, you get the gist that my home life was seriously fucked up. So when I was 18, I got in trouble, and I had robbed this guy who was one of my employers. I had taken about $10,000 worth of his product from his business, and I got caught with that. And then when I got caught with that, I went to jail, and then I got out of jail on a pretrial service while I was going through my court proceedings. And then I ended up absconding from that, and then I got caught, and I had dope on me. So I was 18 years old. I was a couple of months before my 19th birthday, and I got arrested, and I got some drug charges, and I went to prison. And so I went to prison for a couple of years when I was 18. I got out right before I turned 21, and I'll tell you what, man. Like that was, when I went to prison when I was a kid, I kind of felt like, okay, I have now accomplished everything that my father set me up to be. And maybe that's a little bit fucked up, but I feel like when he was raising me, I feel like he was grooming me to be a convict. And so when I went to prison, I felt like, okay, I'm finally in my element. I'm surrounded by people that understand me. I'm surrounded by people that get me. And I dove into that lifestyle, man. And I got out of prison with a large list of contacts with a lot of people who were like-minded, and we had big plans to commit all kinds of crimes. Now, what ended up happening is that my father, he broke up with his girlfriend when I was in prison, and his girlfriend was super toxic. And I mean, as soon as he met this girl, they were together for about 10 years, and once she entered his life, they started drinking heavily, and then that's when he started to put hands on me, and then that's what led into him chaining me up in the backyard and all that shit. So my dad, after about a year and a half of my sentence, my father came to visit me when I was in prison. And I had mentioned that I lost all respect for my father, but when I was locked up, and he drove like 4 or 5 hours to come see me, and that meant a lot to me because I was very alone. And so when he came to visit me, he visited me twice when I was locked up. And when he did that, I kind of forgave him. I was kind of like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, he fucked up, but and I fucked up, but here we are, and we're on equal ground. We're meeting each other, and we're level in the playing field. So I get out of prison, and just weeks after me getting out, my father gets diagnosed with cancer. And it was terminal cancer, it was lung cancer, it was throat cancer, and we knew that he was going to die. Now, he was still fighting, and he went through all the chemo and the radiation, and, he ended up getting a tracheotomy, and he had to get all of his teeth pulled. And I mean, it was just doctor visit after surgery, and it was a fucking mess. But since I had just gotten out of prison and I got paroled to his house, I was his caretaker. And this went on for years. I mean, this was a 3-year process from the time that I got out of prison. He gets diagnosed with cancer, and then he dies. It took 3 years. And in that 3-year period of time, my father and I got really close. And, I was taking care of him. I was driving all over the place, but I was also living this other life that I was out there getting high, and I was shooting dope, and I was just getting really fucked up, and I was in and out of jail. And I mean, I think in that 3-year period, I'm pretty sure I got arrested about between 25 and 30 times just for, petty stuff. Whether it was, I got a bunch of disorderly conducts. I just a bunch of shit. And what ended up happening was I was looking at 8 years in prison for a possession charge. And I fell into this thing in Arizona called Proposition 200, which is mandatory treatment and probation as an alternative to going to prison for your first offense. But since they didn't offer me probation for my first time I went to prison, I was still eligible for this thing. So I ended up getting on probation, and then I think it was like a 3-year probation term. And so my probation officer knew what was going on with me and my dad, and so she was pretty understanding. When I was fucked up, like rather than her violating me, she would just kind of like be like, "Hey man, like I understand your situation." Like she had a lot of empathy for me, and it was pretty cool. But either way, I was still fucked up. My life was a disaster. So I lived in Rimrock, Arizona, which is it's in the Verde Valley area in Arizona. It's a very small town, a lot of trailer trash, and then that's where we lived. And so I had gotten this violation on my probation for I don't know, who knows what, So what? Now my dad was still alive when this happened. So my PO comes to see me in jail. And she says, "Here's the deal, Clint. Like you're going to treatment, okay? And if you fuck this up, I'm sorry, but you have to go to prison, and that's just what it is." So she moves me to Prescott, Arizona, to go to a place called Hillside, which is a residential treatment center. And so I go to Hillside, and I'm in Hillside for like 2.5 weeks. And while I was in there, my father died, and so I go to his funeral and blah blah blah, and I'm on probation still, and now I'm in Prescott, and so my PO comes to see me and she says, "You're staying in Prescott, and that's what you're going to do. You have no reason to go back to Rimrock. Your father's dead now. I ended up staying in treatment for a little bit longer than most people did because of what had happened while I was there. And I started a new life, man. And I mean, I told you some things about the way that my father raised me, but he was really fucking racist, and he was really fucking violent, and he had groomed me to be everything that he's seen as the qualities that a man should have, which is a violent, racist, fucking redneck pile of shit. And so when he died and I'm in treatment, I said, you know what, like, this is my chance to reinvent myself. This is my opportunity to find out who I am as a man. Who do I want to be? What do I want to do in my life? Now, you know that I'm covered in tattoos from head to toe. I have everything, well, not head to toe, head to ankle, because I have everything except for my feet tattooed. Now, I have been tattooed for a long time, and, so I'm entering my life, my adult life, rediscovering who I am, but I already have this image of a convict. So it's like, what the fuck do I do? You know what I mean? What am I supposed to do? So I just kind of learned how to adapt, how to just adapt. And it's like, yeah, man, my past is written all over me and I can't escape that. I am who I am. So moving forward, I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm gonna share some things with you, and I started doing this memoir because I just want people to know who I am, man. Because like I'd mentioned in my last video, I'm almost 40 years old, and I'm living in Spokane, Washington. I'm all by myself. I don't have anybody here, and I've been through a lot of shit, man. I've been through hell, and I feel like I'm back, and that's just what it is. So now that I'm here, it's like, fuck, man, I want the world to know who I am. I want people to know that I'm a good motherfucker. And that's just what I'm trying to share with you guys. It's like I've been out here all alone for a long time. And I've been through a lot. And I'm hurt. I'm broken. I'm a broken individual. And I come from trash. And I could tell you guys a lot more stories about my childhood and then the shit that I went through, but I don't see any reason for me to focus on that. I see a reason for me to focus on the positive stuff, because every day I wake up with the intention of how can I make the world a better place. how can I do that? Because I used to wake up with the mentality of how can I fucking run from my reality? How can I escape my father's home? You know, I was living in fear. I was living in a world that was just surrounded by chaos. And I don't have to do that anymore. So what ended up happening after I moved to Prescott was a lot of incredible things, man. And I really started to open up my eyes to like, holy shit. And it took me a while. I had to figure some things out. And but I started doing some things, man, that got me a lot of attention. And I kind of got like small town famous for a minute, and I impacted my community, and I impacted the West Coast, and I did that. You know, and if you guys care to look, you can look up my old YouTube channel, which there's a lot of crap on there. But if you look up Last Chance Intervention, that's my old YouTube channel. And now I lost access to that channel, so I can't go in there. If I could go in there, I would be on that channel instead of this one. I would be rebuilding that one. But you know, there's a lot of stuff on there of some of my accomplishments and some of the things that I've done. But the next time I share, the next time I make this video, I'm gonna jump into that, and I'm gonna start to tell you guys, you know, what I did and how I turned all of that bullshit into something positive. So that's what's coming up next. So thank you guys for fucking with me, man. My name is Clint Richards. My friends call me AZ. This is AZ Meets the World, memoir number 4. I love you guys. You all stay up. You stay positive. I moved into my garage, so I got my punching bags set up. I got 3 bags in here. I kind of cleaned the place up. The bag drop's kind of fucked up, but when I made my first videos after I got out of prison, they were in this garage, and you know, but it was freezing out here. It was fucking cold. It was November. It was the end of November, so winter was just coming in, and it was freezing in here. But I went ahead and I relocated out here. So I'm gonna kind of, you know, as I evolve, I'm gonna put some stuff up to make the backdrop nice, and I don't know, man, it should be pretty cool. So, anyways, thank you all for fucking with me. I'll be back soon. God bless y'all.